Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're putting on our focused learner hats and tackling a process that, honestly, kind of confuses a lot of folks, but it is absolutely crucial. We're talking about how to transfer a car title when buying from a private seller right here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
So, are you ready to navigate the maze of transferring a car title in Pennsylvania? Don't risk driving away with costly mistakes. I mean, literally, a simple signature in the wrong little box or missing one specific piece of ID can completely stall your vehicle purchase. It can cost you money or worse, leave you legally liable for somebody else's actions out on the road. We're absolutely going to make sure that doesn't happen to you today.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, title transfer basics. Second, pre-purchase preparation. Third, completing the sale. Fourth, navigating PA-DMV requirements. Fifth, post-purchase next steps. And finally, avoiding common transfer pitfalls.
All right, Section 1, Title Transfer Basics. Let's build that foundation.
So what are we actually dealing with here? Well, the Pennsylvania Certificate of Title is basically the absolute gold standard of ownership. It's the official legal document issued by PennDOT. Now, you might be wondering about a bill of sale. Here's a massive point of confusion we got to clear up right now. In some states, a signed piece of paper, like a bill of sale, is enough to prove you bought a car. Not in Pennsylvania. While a bill of sale is a great private record to have, it does not legally convey the vehicle. Ownership transfers only through the formalized title assignment.
And getting this right is totally vital. Just imagine waking up to a $500 toll violation from a bridge you never even crossed, simply because you didn't transfer the title correctly, right? For the buyer, this process officially transfers legal ownership so you can actually drive and register the car. But for the seller, it is your legal shield against the buyer's toll violations and any future traffic citations. Plus, keep in mind, the state enforces a super strict 20-day legal window from the date of the sale to get this entire transfer done.
Moving right along to Section 2, Pre-Purchase Preparation. Let's get you fully ready to buy.
Now, what's really interesting about this step is how strict PennDOT is with ID. They require valid, government-issued photo identification for the transaction. So no, you can't just show up with a student ID or a library card. The issuing agents are actually required by law to take a legible photocopy of a valid ID, which generally means a Pennsylvania photo driver's license or an ID card for buyers. Also, if you're the buyer, this is the perfect time to verify that the seller's ID actually matches the name printed on the title. Oh, and definitely check the front of that title to make sure there are no active bank liens holding up the sale.
So what do you actually need in your folder when you walk into that agent's office? First up, the original certificate of title. If the seller lost or damaged it, they've got to apply for a duplicate using Form MV30O before you can even proceed with the sale. You need the original, no photocopies, and absolutely no erasures. Second, if the buyer intends to drive the car away and register it, they must bring proof of active Pennsylvania auto insurance in their own name. Third, those valid photo IDs for everyone involved. And finally, that bill of sale. Like we said, it's optional in PA, but highly recommended just as a receipt.
All right, Section 3, Completing the Sale. It's the moment of truth where we sign the paperwork.
Here's how this goes down. Step 1, the seller records the exact odometer reading and the sale price on the title. This satisfies both federal odometer laws and state tax laws. Step 2, the seller signs Section A, and the buyer fills out and signs Section D. But wait, Step 3 is the kicker here. You cannot just sign this at a local coffee shop. No way. In Pennsylvania, the seller's signature must be sworn to and notarized in the physical presence of an authorized PennDOT agent, a tag service, or a dealer.
So the crucial point here is this specific warning. Take a close look at the front of the current title. Are there two names listed? If the names are separated by the word "and," every single person listed must be physically present to sign in front of the notary. If it says "or," well then only one of you needs to sign. But here's the catch. If there's no word connecting the names, Pennsylvania automatically defaults to "and." This single little technicality ruins so many Saturday morning car sales, so for sure, check that title beforehand.
Next up, Section 4, Navigating PA-DMV Requirements. Let's make sense of the forms.
Knowing the difference between these two forms is a total game changer. If the car you're buying already has a Pennsylvania title, you're going to use Form MV4ST. This handy little form handles both the title transfer and the sales tax collection in one shot. However, if you're buying a car with an out-of-state title, you must use Form MV1. And if you use Form MV1, the state strictly requires a physical verification of the vehicle identification number or VIN by an inspection mechanic or a notary. Picking the wrong form is a guaranteed rejection. And keep in mind, because notarization is strictly required, you're almost always going to submit these forms in person at an authorized PennDOT agent or messenger service rather than trying to do it online.
And this brilliantly illustrates your out-of-pocket costs, so you know exactly what to expect. These are the standard, state-mandated fees. So the title transfer fee is a flat $72. Your standard annual passenger registration is $48. Fun fact, by the way, Pennsylvania actually has one of the oldest running vehicle registration systems in the entire country, dating way back to 1906, and yep, they still want their cut today. Now, if you're financing the car at a $36 lien recording fee, but the big one, that's the PA sales tax. The base state rate is 6% of the purchase price or market value. But if you live in Allegheny County, it's 7%. And if you're in the city of Philly, it jumps up to 8%. Plus, keep in mind local agents will also charge a market-driven service fee on top of the whole shebang.
Okay, Section 5. Post-purchase next steps. What happens right after the notary stamps the paperwork?
For the buyer, here is your timeline. Before you even leave the agent's office, if you've paid for registration, you'll receive a temporary 90-day registration plate, or you'll have your old plate transferred. Your shiny new permanent title will arrive in the mail, usually within about 2 to 4 weeks. But please pay close attention to this next point. Once that vehicle is registered, you have exactly 10 days to get the car through an official Pennsylvania safety inspection, and if it applies in your county, an emissions inspection. Seriously, do not forget that 10-day window.
Now, attention sellers, listen up, because this is incredibly important. Never, ever leave your license plate on the vehicle you just sold. That plate is registered to you, not the car itself. When you hand over those keys, you literally must take a screwdriver, remove that plate, and either transfer it to another vehicle you own using an authorized agent or mail it straight back to PennDOT. Because if the buyer drives through a toll booth or runs a red light camera with your plate on the bumper, yep, those expensive tickets are coming straight to your mailbox.
Finally, Section 6. Avoiding common transfer pitfalls. Let's make sure you don't make these dangerous mistakes. Let's move to and see how this builds into our final warnings. Thousands of title applications get rejected by PennDOT every single year. Let's avoid being one of them. First, don't miss that 20-day legal window to transfer the title after the sale date. Second, if the car is from out of state, don't forget you need a physical VIN verification before you can submit Form MV-1. Third, if you make a spelling mistake on the title, do not cross it out or use whiteout. PennDOT considers that an altered document and they will flat out reject it. You'll have to apply for a whole replacement title. And finally, do not falsify the sale price. If the price looks suspiciously low, PennDOT investigators can and will audit the transaction, requiring Form MV-3 to legally verify the fair market value. It's just simply not worth the risk.
So, you are now equipped with the practical steps, the bureaucratic know-how, and the awareness of common traps to confidently handle a private vehicle sale in PA. But remember, regulations can change, so always double-check with the Pennsylvania DMV or a legal professional to ensure compliance. You've totally mastered the title transfer today, but it kind of makes you wonder, what other hidden bureaucratic DMV traps are out there silently costing drivers time and money? Thank you so much for learning with us on this explainer today. Stay focused and safe travels out there on the road.